Welcome everyone to just a classic Sabbath song. I really enjoyed learning this one. I've played with it before, but as usual, when you really learn something, there are some things that you need to do differently because you're really listening to what they're doing. So we'll talk about some of the nuances in this song that Tony does. Dio's, his writing is just incredible. God bless the man. God rest his soul. So the first thing to know is this song is tuned down to E flat. So tune all your strings down a half step. The other thing is my notes will be available. Download. There's a link right below the video. Click on that. Click on the little download icon, and you can follow along that way. So we're going to learn this song more along the context of playing it as a single player and playing along with it. If you got a band and a couple guitar players, you can add some licks in certain spots I'll talk about. But we're going to really kind of focus on one guitar. All right, so the other thing is Geezer's bass, and his bass playing just is so underrated. Even in this song, watch the live version of this. The guy is incredible. All right, with that said, the song is going to start out, it's based in E minor. All right, so we're just going to play an E power chord. Then we're going to go up to an F sharp to G. So that would be 9 and 11 up to 10 and 12. And then we're going to come down to a C power chord. All right, before we go to D. So we got this so far. Now, when we go to the D, the first time is a little bit different than the second time it goes through. The first time he's going to hit it, one deadened string, and then hit it again. All right. Then back into it. The second time he goes to D, he's going to hit 2 dead. And then he comes on. All right, so that's talking about the D. All right, after the first D, let me pick back up there. We're going to come up. This time, instead of coming to C, we're going to come all the way up to an A. So we'll be at 12 and 14. All right, and then what we do is hit that G back to F sharp and E as a single motion. All right, so we have this. Let's take it from the D. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, the whole thing repeats with that second D, like I said, with 2 deadened before we hit it again. Then back up. And then we slide down. The key to I found to doing this slide down, and I still tend to hit it or push down too hard. Just go easy on the strings and the sliding will come. Alright. Then what he does 4 notes before the vocals come in with a held E. There's no other chords during the first verse. Those notes are A to B on the 6th string, and then D to E on the 5th string. And just hit that open 6th string. So there you have the intro. All right, verse 1 is total singing. There's nothing underneath other than the bass and the drums doing their thing, which again, like I said, Geezer Butler is just incredible. Then we're into the chorus. So for the chorus, what we're going to do is go from C, we'll hit it again after we count 4, and move up to D. And then we're going to go into a lick. All right, so we have this. And then we're into the second verse. So for this chorus, again, so once we get to the D, what you can do is use the 5th string at the 7th fret there. That is an E note, while you hit the 6th E note at the same time. And then what we do are, after we hit that note, all right, we're going to do 2 dead notes. So these are muted, really. Then we come 4 on the 4th string, 4 hammered into 5, and then we're going to hit 7 on the 5th string. Then 2 more dead notes. So we have this. Let's take it from the C. All right, then we do 2 dead notes, and what we're going to do is come up onto the 3rd and 2nd string at the 12th fret, strike that and slide down. Then we're going to hit 3 dead notes. It's like 1, 2, and to start it again. All right, so what we have so far, let's take it from the 1st E. All right, now what we do, we're not going to worry about the 5th string anymore. Once we hit the 1, 2, and muted on the 4th string, I'm sorry, 6th string, we're going to come 4 hammered into 5 and then 7. Then what we're going to do is pull off from 5 to 4 on the 4th string again, hitting 7 on the 5th string before we come to the 6th string with 1 more and then 2 more. All right, so I know it's a lot of muted notes, but the rhythm really pulls you in and carries you forward. All right, so from the 4 to 5, 7, and then the 5 pulled off to 4. Again, learning this, I used to play it. Which is wrong. He's pulling off the 2nd time, and I didn't realize that. All right, so from the 4 to 5, 7 on the 4th string, and then the 5, 4 pulled off to 7 on the 5th string. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we start it again. And then we just hit an open E. All right, so I know it's a lot there. Let me play it for you slowly. I'm going to come the whole chorus so you can see how it all fits together and moves you through it. From the C. Now this second verse has some chords under it. They're just tuned up. They're really diatonic chords or 2-note chords. I'm going to show you what he does is he plays an E minor with the volume up and swells it in. Then he does this. So basically what we're doing, we're swelling up that E minor, all right, bring it in, and then we're going to take our pinky off and put that on the 5th string at the 10th fret, so our ring finger is still at the 9th fret on the 4th string. So we're hitting 10 on the 5th and 9 on the 4th. Then we switch, okay, we can move our ring finger up to the 9th fret of the 5th string, put your first finger now down on the 7th fret of the 4th string. And then just move this down and play on the 5th fret of the 5th string, 4th fret of the 4th string. So we have this. Okay, that's the first and third time through. The second and fourth time, he adds on this 7th fret the 3rd and 4th string. All right, so let's go through the first one, then I'll go into the second one. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can see what's different is after we do this 9 and 7, we're going to go right to 7 and then back to the 5 and 4. And the first time through again, and then the second time again. The only difference is we stop here. And then we come back in with chorus 2. And this is different also. And I'm going to show you, like I said, we're focusing on kind of playing it as one guitar. I'll show you the full licks if you'd rather do the full licks, but of course there's overdub chording going on. So let me play chorus 2 for you with all the licks, and then I'll talk about how I play it. Alright, so the licks, the first time, it's all consistent. We hit the C, and then we hit 5 hammered into 7. We'll come to, that's on the 5th string. Well, that's kind of referencing a D chord. Then we're going to hit the 5th fret of the 4th string to 7, slid up to 9, and then hit 7 again. Then quickly we come 7 pulled off to 5 on that 4th string, to 7 on the 5th. Repeat the 7 to 5 pull off on the 4th string, this time hitting 5 on the 5th string. So that whole first lick slowly, 1, 2, 3, 4. Second time through, he's going to go through that very beginning the same way. This time, while you're at that 7th position, grab the 3rd string at 9 with a bend up, release, and pull off to 5. It's on the 3rd string, and then do the same thing at the 5th position. So that'll be on the 4th string. We'll bend up 7, release, and pull off to 5. Alright, so the second lick. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, the third lick, we'll do the very beginning again, the same. The only difference here is we're going to slide back into the 4th string at 9 and then catch 7 twice on that 3rd string. Alright, so we have this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so like I said, there's a lot of overdubs going on within especially this section. There's actually a little lead part that I didn't figure out. I know some other people have. I forget the guy's name. Anyhow, he has all the licks figured out, but I'm playing this for one guitar. So The other thing is I don't do all the licks in this. So I don't do that whole first lick. I do the second licks of each one. So I play a D chord and then go into it. And you're back into the heaven and hell, basically intro, just reprised. So at the end, right at the end of the reprised intro, when we slide down back to E, we're going to hit E again and then go to a fourth root G. Alright, so basically it's the fourth string at the 5th fret, third string at 7 and 8 on the second. Then we're going to go into a C. This is a little bridge here, and it's really well done. Took me a little bit to kind of figure this out. At first I was doing a little bit different, and I'll show you that, but it kind of sounded better this other way. So, okay, so we're coming back out. Let me just go into the last measure of the intro reprise. Alright, so the intro reprised. Once we come back, we're going to hit that E again, like I said, to that G. Then we go to a C, referencing a C. This will be the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd string at the 5th fret. Do the same thing, reference a D, playing that up at 7. Now we're going to move to a form. It's basically a D form. We got D, we move it up E, half step F. So it's an F. Back to C. Then we move up F, G, to D. Again, when I started to figure this out, I was using this kind of chording. But I wasn't hitting that bottom E properly, so it really helped. And I really taught my pinky to go into the right spot. Took a little bit of practice, you know, that's what it's about, playing guitar. But we're playing it's really an F, or F, with that B over, or A over, and the G. It just sounded better to me. Alright, so we got C to D. Then we go our F, back to C, then we go up to G, to D, and then A. Alright, this is still part of the bridge, but it was part of the chorus earlier. Or we can call it a tag, I don't know what you want to call it. But this basically is this lick we know that's going to repeat a total of 6 times. So that lick is this. Like I said, that'll repeat 6 times. So turn the echo off. Get yourself, good echo delay, I should say, with about 3 or 4 repeats that fade pretty quickly. Some reverb. And what he does to start out with is a bend on the 3rd string at the 2nd fret with a slow release. Then it's almost like a rake on the 4th, 3rd string at the 2nd fret to the A, or to the E, I'm sorry, open E. Alright, and then we have this. So what he's doing is grabbing the 12th fret of the 4th and 3rd string, hammering in quickly to the 14th fret of that 4th string, and then hitting 12 on the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd, and then again and slid down. Okay, again, you got the echo going in there. It's really, I don't think he's hitting it much more than that. But, you know, if you want to... Alright, the next part of the lick. Okay, the next part of the lick, again, we're in all, this is an E Aeolian, if you want to speak to that, but it's the E minor scale. Alright, so what we're doing there, we're going to take the 3rd string at 14 with a bend and release to 12, striking 14 on that 4th string very quickly. Then we're going to do a bend and release and pull off to 12 on the 3rd string, hitting 14 twice. Then we come 12 on the 3rd string to 14. Then we come to the 4th string, 12 hammered on to 14, then to 12 on the 3rd, 12 on the 4th. And then finish it out, we're going to hammer 12 to 14 on the 4th string and hit 14 3 more times before we slide it down. Alright, so let's just take it from the beginning. This is the first measure of the solo. We've done our 2, and then, alright, da-da, and then we're going to do this. Alright, there's a little bit of a pause, and then you'll hear him do this. Alright, I just want to speak to that. This is, I think he's using some compression, I'm sure he's using some compression on this to get that note to sustain so long, because what he does is bends up the 2nd string at 15 and then slowly releases it. So the compression helps that note to ring out more. I don't have any on here right now, but I'm thinking about it right now, and that's what I'm pretty sure he's using. So we got 15 on the 2nd fret, bent and slow release. Then we're going to hit 12 and hammer into 15, catching 15 again before we go back to 12. We're hammering in from 12 to 15 on that 2nd string, hitting 15 again before we come back to 12, and then 14 twice. Then we're going to do 12 on the 3rd string to 14. Then we come 14, 12 hammered into 14, and hit 14 again. Then we do both 12 on the 4th and 3rd string before hitting 14 on the 4th. Alright, this is kind of before we take off a little bit down the strings. Alright, so up to this point, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now what we're going to do is go to the 5th string, hit 12, hammered into 14, hit 14 again. We'll move that a full step down, we'll hit 10, hammering into 12, hitting 12 again. Then we go to the 9th fret, we're going to hammer into 10 and back off, landing on 12 on the 6th. Alright, so from that 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we walk up the scale, 9 on the 5th string to 10, 12, slid to 14. So the next measure, after we've slid up to 14, you want to move to that 12 position, because what we're going to do is hit the 4th string 12 twice, and then one more time hammered into 14 before we go to 12 on the 3rd, back to 14 on the 4th, 12 and 4 on the 3rd. so one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to do, this is a real nice pattern, especially with the delays. We're going to take 12, hit it once on the second string, hit it again, hammer it into 15, hit that twice. We'll do 12 hammered down to 15 and hitting that twice on the first string. So we have this. Move back with that same pattern on the second string and the third string, except it'll be 14. Alright, so from the 12 on the second string, we'll hit that twice. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then what we do is hit 12 to 14 again on the third string before going to the fourth string, 12 hammered into 14 twice before we hit 14 again. Moving to the third string, 12 hammered into 14, hit 2 more times. 12 on that third string to 14 3 times. 12 on the third twice to 14 with a bend, and then kind of a move where we're going to hit 12 to 15 on the second string 3 times. Alright, so this whole next measure from the 12 to 14 on the third string back to 12 to 14 on the fourth. 1, 2, 3, 4. At that point, we're to the next measure, and we're going to do 12 on the first string to 12 on the second string, 15 on the second string, 12 on the first before we come back to the second string at 15 with a bend, a little vibrato, and then again bent before we take off again. All right. The second time we hit it, we're going to move your position to the 14th, all right? So on the first string, we'll hit 14, 15, 17. So we got... And come back to 15, 14. And come to 17, hit twice, and then one more time before we move up on the first string. And then what we're going to do is take, I'm sorry, that's, Then we move up 17 to 15 and 17 on the first string, and then bent twice before we come back to 17 unbent to 15, 14, 15, 14 on the first string. I know it's a lot of numbers, but let's take it from the 3 17s on the second string. Come back to the second string, 15, 17 to 15, and then 17 bend and release. Then we're going to come to the 12 position, hit second string at 12, 15 pulled off to 12, and then 15 with vibrato and slow release as we bend it. Alright, so those last two measures from 12 on the first, 12 on the second, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so that's the solo. Again, with the delay, it's really done well. Now we're into the double time point of the song where things pick up. I think since we're still here at the solo position, I'll start with the solo over the double time and then show you the actual rhythm. The second solo over that double time rhythm starts out, and again, like all great solos, this has a real melody to it, and it's not necessarily played real fast because we've picked up the rhythm. It's just played with, again, a lot of feeling. So it'll start out like this. All right, so scratch, open, 6th string. Now we're going to take the 2nd string at 15 with a bend, then hit it unbent to 12. Coming to 14 on the 4th string to 12 on the 3rd string. Then to the 1st string at 15 with a bend and a slow release. Alright, so we have this. Now, when you got your SG, you can come up to 22, or this Les Paul lets me get up there with the cutaway. 22, we're going to bend the 2nd string up, catching 22 on the 1st string. Then we come to 17 and hit that to 20, and then 20 with a bend and release twice, vibrato. Alright, so we have that. Alright, then we come back to the 12th position. Alright, so what we're doing, 1st string 12 to 2nd string 12, 1st string 12, then back to the 2nd string at 12. 15 on the 2nd string, back catching 15 on the 1st string, and then the 2nd string, 15 pulled off to 12. On the 3rd string at 14 with a bend and release and vibrato. Alright, so we have this. So it continues on. Now we're into the 2nd measure of this double time solo. So the last measure of this double time solo, we're going to start out on the 4th string 14 to 12 and pull back off from 14 to 12. To 14 on the 4th string to 12, 14 on the 4th. 12 to 14 on the 3rd, 12 to 15 on the 2nd. So we're kind of taking off there. Come 14 to 15, back to 14 on the 1st string. Then 15 bent release and bent release with vibrato. Then we're going to come 15 to 17 bent. 15 to 17, then 17 bent. 15 on the 1st to 17 on the 2nd. 15 to 17. I'm going to pre-bend 17, hit it and release with bend and release on about 4 times and slide off. That's the end of the solo. So this last measure together slowly, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the double time solo. Like I said, there's no delay on that, just a little bit of reverb, and played really well with feeling. We'll go over the double time rhythm, and then you'll have really the whole song. Oh, we got the classical ending, which I literally bought a new guitar for, so I'll speak to the guitar after we go over that also, so stay tuned for that at the end of the lesson. So for this rhythm, I bought this Yamaha nylon string guitar just for this. I'm playing through amplitude. It's clean. I'm just using a little bit of delay and reverb to add to this because that's what's in the song. So I'll speak to the guitar when we're done and how much I like it. With that said, the outro is going to start like this. Okay, so for what we're doing there is we're really moving on the fourth string. And we're plucking the first and second. You can pluck them individually, or I'm just using one finger. So the beginning starts with 4 of those. Fret of the 4th string and the open 2 strings. The open 2 strings are consistent throughout. We do 4 of those. On the 5th, we start taking off. I'll just stop there. What we're doing is going from the 2nd fret of the 4th string up to 4 and 5, each with 2 hits on the 1st and 2nd. Then we're going to jump up to the 9th fret of that 4th string and 1 hit on the 1st and 2nd. Then we come back to 9 and hit 10 on that 4th string, then 2 hits. So it's like that 9. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So taking off 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we come back to the 7th fret of the 4th string, hit that 1st and 2nd once. Then we're going to come to 10 and 9 twice on the 1st and 2nd. Okay, so let's take it up to that point from the takeoff. 1, 2, 3, 4. To 7 on the, 5 on the 4th string, once on the 1st and 2nd, because we'll come up to 9 and then 7. The 7 will get 2 hits. Then we come to the 4th string and end on the 3rd string at 2. Let's go all through that one time. All right, we'll stop on that 2. Let's run all through that one time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Starts over again. So again, it's in my notes. It's really fun to play and practice. You can use 3 or 2 fingers, like I use 2 fingers, and it sounds fantastic. We'll go over the outro lead part which again, Marvialis, he transcribed, so I wrote it all down, and I've played along with him. I downloaded his video, played along. It's just really fun to play with, so we'll go over that next. Alright, so I gave you the notes, you downloaded it. I'm going to talk about how I wrote this out, okay? In the video I watched from Marvalis, there are certain parts where he plays a little bit faster. So those parts I've bolded, okay? But the first measure will start like this, and I'll show you it because there's a couple sped up parts to it. So it's all in this 7th position, all right? And again, we're in E minor or E Aeolian. Alright, so I'm going to stop right there. You can hear how the echo and the reverb add a little bit to this. But what he's starting out, you know, like I said, it's 8 to 10 and then 7. 8 to 10 on the second string, 7 on the first, back to 8 to 10, and then 7, 8. Then it comes down to 8. And then this is sped up. It'll go 7, 10, 8. Then 7, 9, 7 on the second, back to 9 on the third. And then 9, 7, 9 on the third to 7, 8 on the second is sped up. Then 10, back to first string, 7 to second string, 8, first string, 7, 8, 7. Then second string, 10, 8, 10, 7, 8, 10, 8, 7, 9. Then we go to 7 on the second to 7 on the first before we come back to 8 on the second to 7 and 9 on the third. And then 7, 8. So you can see there's really, and it's again, he figured this out just like it should be. I've written it out exactly like he taught, and it sounds perfect with the song. So what I do is load it up in Riff Station, slow it down maybe a quarter off normal speed, and you can literally play with this. It sounds beautiful. Even though it's fading out, he's got all the parts figured out. So I've written it out. The bold part in that outro lead equals it's sped up. So what is this? Well, it's a Yamaha. It's called, the model is NTX, and it's 1. So it's the lowest or cheapest version of their crossover nylon string. Crossover meaning, if you've ever tried to play classical guitar, the strings are really spaced much wider than a normal, if you will, guitar that we're used to being electric and acoustic players. So this kind of, you know, it's got the nylon strings. They're not spaced as far apart. It's more like a regular guitar. I love the electronics on it. It's got a tuner. It's got bass treble in middle. It's got a control for the frequency so you don't get as much feedback, volume. I mean, perfect. The difference between this NTX1 and, like, say, an NTX3 is they use what they call nano wood on the back and sides. Nano is a substitute for mahogany. It's a little, quote, crisper from everything I've read. And I thought, well, that's more of what I want when I'm playing this type of song. I want that crispness to push out. So this was a Sweetwater buy. It was a demo, which I thought, hey, perfect. Why a demo is perfect? Because it's already set up and everything plays well, so people want to buy it, right? So for me, it was a perfect buy. I got a discount on it. Like I said, the electronics are really good on this. The sounds are nice. The keys work really well to tune it with the tuner. I'm extremely happy with this guitar. I'll probably do a Christmas song with some classical twist to it. And it's one of those things that's inspired me. Now, what I didn't like about the guitar was there were no neck inlays. So if you looked at this, there was nothing there. And that being that I like to teach guitar, it's easier for people to see where I'm playing if I have neck markers. So, good old Amazon, I looked up stick-on neck markers, and I found a set that I really liked, and sure enough, stuck them on, and they're doing great. I mean, this is an everyday player. It's not a guitar that's going to really, it's not a steel string that's going to screw up maybe those stickers, but they've really held well, and as you can see, they're great markers. So that's my advice. One other guy I saw a review, he actually used the binder ring little stickers that you could put on paper, so if it's ripped, it will stay in the binder, and he used like a half moon, which I thought was a great idea. But these stickers, I think, were like $2 or $3, and they've held up really well through all of my practice. So that's the guitar. That's how I made it, how I like it, and I really hope you guys enjoyed everything I brought to you today. We'll see you next time.